Something was happening in Festive Road. It was just another morning, but all along this ordinary street, children and their mothers were walking in one direction. At number 52, Mr. Benn looked out of his window and noticed what was happening. They're all going towards the park at the end of the road, he thought. I wonder why. He went in from his window, put on his hat and coat, and was soon on his way to find out what was happening. In the park, he could see the children and parents standing together. On some mornings in the park, a little show was put on for the children. This was one of those mornings. Mr. Benn decided to stay and watch the show. First, it was Punch and Judy. The children loved it. So did Mr. Benn. Next, it was a magician. He was very good. He held up a bunch of flowers and made them change to a bird. He made the bird change to a goldfish in a bowl. And then back again. After the show was over, Mr. Benn sat on a park bench and thought what fun it would be to work magic. And he thought of a certain set of clothes he could remember seeing in the special clothes shop where he knew adventures could start from. He looked around the shop until he saw the costume which he'd remembered. As if by magic, the shopkeeper appeared. "Good morning, sir," he said. "Have you seen anything you fancy?" This one," he said. It was a strangely decorated outfit with a pointed hat. "May I see if it fits?" he asked. "You know where the fitting room is, sir," said the shopkeeper, and they both looked towards the door in the corner of the shop. Mr. Benn was soon in the fitting room. He changed from his ordinary clothes and admired himself in the mirror of the room. "I think this is a wizard's outfit," thought Mr. Benn. "Now where will that take me?" Then he went through the other door, the one that could lead to adventures. Once through the door, Mr. Benn found himself in a kind of cave. There were lots of shelves loaded with books, bottles, jars and packets. Mr. Benn picked up a book called Useful Spells and started to read it. It said that most spells in the book needed chalk to draw a sign, magic spell powder and a wand. Mr. Benn was just wondering which spell to try when there was a ring on a bell, and in walked two men. "We've come from the palace," said one. "We've been sent to find a wizard. Would you come with us? We need your help." Mr. Benn said he would, but he felt a bit worried because he hadn't had time to try out any magic yet. Outside the cave, a horse-drawn carriage was waiting to take them to the palace. They climbed into it and were soon on their way. As they drove along, people beside the road stopped what they were doing to wave. "Everybody seems happy," said Mr. Benn. "They are," said the messenger. "It's a very happy kingdom. The king is very good. Everybody loves him." Why does the king want me? Asked Mr. Benn. You'll find out in a minute, said the messenger. We're nearly there. The coach drove up to the palace and stopped at the entrance. Mr. Benn was taken to the great hall. Lots of people stood around. Mr. Benn thought they looked rather worried. At the end of the hall sat the king and queen. The queen looked very queenly. The king looked just a short, round, happy man. Mr. Benn bowed to the king and queen. The queen began to explain what she wanted. First, she told Mr. Benn how good the king was and how he kept his people happy. "The trouble is," said the queen, "he just sits and grins. He's not lively enough for a king. He should jump about a bit more. Can you make him?" "Jump about more," said Mr. Benn, and he looked in his book of spells. He found a spell that seemed right, and he read it carefully. He took his chalk and drew a sign round the king's throne. Next, he sprinkled some magic powder on the king, read out the magic spell, pointed his wand, and the king jumped and jumped, rather like a large frog. "Stop!" shouted the queen, and luckily Mr. Benn was ready with the spell to change things back again. The queen wanted to try again. "A king should be big and strong," she said. "Make him big and strong." Mr. Benn read the book again, made another sign, sprinkled more dust, and pointed his wand. And the king grew, and he smashed through the throne, which he thought was very funny. He gave the nearest guard a friendly pat. It was such a blow that it sent the guards flying like a line of skittles. The king bumped a pillar, and that too came tumbling down. "Stop!" shouted the queen, "before he smashes the palace." Again a flash, and the king and his throne, and the soldiers, and the pillar were back to normal. "Strength may not be good," said the queen, "but look at him. Can't he be tall and elegant?" "I'll try," said Mr. Benn, and read again, did what it said, and... "Stop!" said the queen. Mr. Benn was already saying the spell. "I have it," said the queen. "I would like the king to look like that." And she pointed to a statue. Mr. Benn read, marked, sprinkled, pointed, and... there was the king, just like the statue. The queen was delighted, until she realized the king was just stone. "Oh, dear," said the queen, "this is no good. Change him back." Mr. Benn had had enough. He liked the king. Everybody liked the king. Even the queen liked the king. She just wanted him to look different. Mr. Benn told the queen that things couldn't be changed to and fro forever. "Oh, please try," said the queen. "I realize now it's what he is that matters, not how he looks." "If I do," said Mr. Benn, "you must never try to change him again." "I won't, I promise. Just get him back," said the queen. With a flash, Mr. Benn brought the king back. Everybody cheered Mr. Benn. Mr. Benn thought they all seemed very happy, seeing that everything was just as it had been. The king, still laughing, thanked Mr. Benn. Another man appeared nearby. "If you come with me, sir, I'll take you back," he said to Mr. Benn. But the king called to Mr. Benn before he could go. "I say, Mr. Wizard, I love those flashes you made. Could we have some more before you go?" Mr. Benn was delighted. He used the last of his magic dust and did a show of flashes for everyone. After that, Mr. Benn said goodbye and went through the door the man had shown him. He found himself back in the changing room of the shop. He took a last look at himself as a wizard in the mirror, and then put on his own clothes. Back in the shop, he returned the wizard's outfit and said, "I like that, King. I'm glad he wasn't changed." "Thanks to you," said the shopkeeper. And then, "By the way, the jar that held the magic dust is empty now, but you might like to have it." "Oh, thank you, I would," said Mr. Benn. And he waved from the door. "See you again soon." Back in Festive Road, Mr. Benn was happy. It's a very ordinary street, he thought, but I'm glad it hasn't changed. At his gate, he smiled at his jar. Yes, it's empty, but it's just the thing to help me remember. I'll keep it always.